spoken about Manchester United really since you left the club some years ago. Contacted me last week, said you wanted to have a chat. What's on your mind?
No, you know, I think it's always difficult for me to talk about United. That's the reason why I never talk about United, because it hurt, because I left the club for personal reason. You know, it was a really difficult moment in my life. Even if I played for Juventus and I had one of the greatest experience. But today I want to talk because a lot of people don't understand, you know. Like I stay quiet, but of course I do like some video when I try to motivate the player. I call the player. I've been watching games with Ed, but because I'm hurt of the situation of the club. I think it's really painful, and I don't want the fan and the people think like I don't care. So that's why today I just want to talk about it.
What do you think at this moment in time is the thing that you need? What do you think is the thing at this moment in time that needs fixing most at the club?
I think I will say the spirit, the passion for the club. You know, I know I'm talking old school, but I don't want to blame the player, because I think some players are here and they don't even know why they're there. They don't have like a leadership in the dressing room to show them what he means to play for Manchester United. You know, you remember in our time, I remember I played 9 years for Manchester, and it was like, I think something like 7 years. I never lose 2 games in the row. That was the challenge. You know, when I meet Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill in Monaco at the time, when they interview me, they ask me question: are you going to be ready to not losing any game? Are you going to be ready to play only on the top of the game? When you play normal game, people will say you play bad game. So you got people, you got figure over there to tell you what it represents to play for United. You know, Robin Van Persie, you remember when he joined United, and the first things I say when I check his hand is like, welcome to a man club. And he laughed. But I remember after 1 month, he said, Patrice, I understand why you say that. You know, like many players, you win like so many trophies, but you're still working out, you're still coming 1 hour before training. After training, you stay in the gym. So he understand that, and he start also, and he win his first Premier League trophy. So I think the problem now is on the pitch, but also off the pitch.
What problems do you see? Start with on the pitch
yes,
first.
On the pitch, I'll be honest with you, I love all of them. I see them a lot, you know, when I go to watch the game. I come in the dressing room after the game, you know, I'm encourage them, and they know how much I love them. But name me like 1 or 2 players can play for Madrid, can play for Juventus, can play for Bayern Munich, you know. It's not few. Me, I will say Paul Pogba and David De Gea, and I've got a lot of respect for the rest of the players. So you remember on our time, I'm sorry to talk always about the past. I don't like to talk about the past. But I think in one season it was like maybe something like 15 captain. 15 players of Man United were captain. So that's why for the fan, it's really difficult, because I want to tell them to forget the past, because if they keep thinking about the past, they're going to be hurt every single day. You know, I think we have to move on, but to move on to the right direction. To both the player who want to play for United for the badge, not for the money. And that's my feeling right now. Some player, they come to United, the only reason because of the money. You know, I'm not afraid to say that.
Which players are you talking about?
I'm saying, like, I have nothing against him, but Sanchez. When I saw the deal of Sanchez, that's when I say the Man United history just go down. Because he had Manchester City. They were offering, of course, less money, but he was going to play a better football than Man United. I'm sorry about that, because City playing a better football. The manager, Guardiola, so he will improve. So I want to know which reason, for real, he go to Manchester United, you know. Don't tell me he go because he loved Manchester United when he was kid, or it's 2 reasons. Maybe the money, and also because maybe he want to be the number 1. You know, he go to Manchester, he say he's not any big player, he will take the number 7 and be the star. So that's why it's not like I'm protecting Paul. But when people, like yesterday, you know, the incident happened with the fan, they're killing Paul. He's the best scorer, best assist. I know you can maybe question sometimes his leadership and everything. Maybe the last few games you want Paul to score the winning goal. So that's why maybe people criticize Paul right now. but he's been the best player of the season. But just because it's Paul Pogba, he's doing his haircut, his dance, his Instagram and everything, people will just criticize him, but they forget the player it is. And if you ask me two players, I say David De Gea and Paul Pogba can play in the big team in Europe.
So if you were at Manchester United now, would you build the new Manchester United team around Paul Pogba? Or do you think he will leave?
I think he will leave. You know, I don't.
Why will he leave?
Because I think you need to feel the love when you play somewhere. The United fan are the best fan in the world. So that's why when I went to the game and I see and I hear fan shouting, swearing on player, I was in shock. Because I remember in our time, you can play one of the worst games in your life. They will even clap you. I remember when we lost 4-1 at home against Liverpool. 4-1 at home against Liverpool. They were singing United, United. So that's the United fan. I know. So
you mentioned the fans and the commitment, and obviously Paul gets the most attention because he is the star player. You look at, say, Manchester City yesterday, you've got David Silva, Sergio Aguero, Vincent Kompany, great players who have come to Manchester and they are committed. They do want to stay in the city. Do you get the feeling that Manchester United fans criticise Paul Pogba because they do feel as though he wants to leave?
You make a good point. I think that's a point and an important one. But Paul never talked. His agent talked. Paul never say he want to leave. Oh, I remember in the beginning of the season he say, I will stay for United and play for United. I love this club. So it's really difficult with Paul because people sometimes they don't talk about football. But when you judge Paul about what he's doing on the pitch, you can hate him, you can love him, you can criticize him, but he's doing his job. Like, if you kill Paul this season, what about the rest of the player? Bring negativity around the club, you should leave. That's what I've done, with Marseille when I have my incident with the fan. Even if he says something really bad and, I kick him. I'm not perfect. I just want to be real with everyone. And this fan was really difficult because he said some racist abuse and as well threatening my family. So I lose my mind. I kick him. Okay. At the end of the game, the next day, we went to the hotel. The president and the manager, Garcia, they come to me. They say, Patrice, what are we going to do now? I say, I'm leaving because I don't want to bring all the negativity around the club.
But you know Paul very well. You played at Manchester United with Cristiano, with Edwin van der Sar, Nemanja Vidic, yourself. Great players who came from sort of international soil. Have you tried to advise him about how he can get closer to the Manchester United fans in terms of how you carried yourself or how others?
Gary, I advise Paul every day. FaceTime, we talk. I tell him about what he represents when you wear that tracksuit, even not the shirt, the tracksuit, what it represents for him and everything. And he was listening to me. He was listening to me a lot. Before Paul left the club when he was young and he went to Juventus, I spent 2 hours in Paul's house talking to his mom, talking to his brother, to tell him, Paul can be, I will say, the new Patrick Vieira of Manchester United. A lot of things. But his agent decided to take him to Juventus.
To me, he said his agent took him to Juventus. His agent speaks about him leaving.
Agent have power. Agent have power to every player. I will.
But he's not 18 anymore, is he?
I know he's not 18, but it's not easy, guys. We won the Champions League in 2008. I was in the end of my contract. I remember Madrid came, so it was a big opportunity, more money than Madrid, than Manchester United. And I was thinking about leaving. I speak with the manager and everything. So he said, no, we're going to renew your contract. And I remember at the time, he said, okay, we give you the same money than Gary Neville. And I was like,
no way!
I promise you guys. Yeah. What is it for me? And I was like, boss, I have all respect for guys, he's our captain. But I am Patrice Evra. And he was like, but my agent was really honest with me. He said, Patrice, I think it's a good opportunity, it's a new challenge and everything, but your DNA is Man United. I think you have to stay for life to play for this club. That was the advice of my agent. Lucky enough to have a good agent, But no, I think not every player are that lucky.
I want to take you back. You mentioned Alexis Sanchez and you said the club changed when they paid him that money. That's a decision that was made in the boardroom.
Yeah.
The changes need to be made there.
You want me to kill people, yeah? That's why I want to know, the problem is like I didn't talk deeply with people from the board or Ed or the Glazer to know who is picking the player of United. Is just the board or the manager? That's my real question. That's my real question. Mourinho want Sanchez badly, or he didn't want it and he's just like Ed? Or that's my question. So that's why it's difficult to point the finger on someone because we don't know, guys. So that's why until I'm not in the club or you're not working in the club, we don't know those questions. But of course, from our side, the first person everyone gonna blame is Ed. But we don't know what the manager say to Ed, like, I want this player no matter what, give him that money. So for me, it's really difficult. I speak with Ed, I speak with the Glazer, and I say we just have to change the way to thinking. I know business is really important. Business is really important, but United, until you don't win trophy and you don't show your passion, people will hate you. He came from the player you're going to buy. Like some people will say, okay, we have to get rid of all the player and buy 6, 7 player. But guys, I ask you a question right now. Which player, one player, name me one player today will have the personality, the character, not the talent, to play for Man United, to carry on this team? You got many talent, but you don't have character. I think before even the Premier League, it was a man league, like character, like fighting. We didn't kill each other, but he was tough.
Manchester United have the right football knowledge within the club to put the club back on the right path.
It will take time. I think they need like more people. They got the Man United DNA and they bleed for this club. I think they need more like ex-player. Because the most important also, guys, is inside the dressing room. I think he's inside the dressing room. Like to people to tell them like what he represents to play for Man United. And that's what the fan, they want to hear. And I agree with them. I agree with them. Like when you see games now, you don't see that passion. We can talk. I can say I am a United fan forever. I'm bleeding. But I have to show it on the pitch. I have to vomit on the pitch. I have to die on the pitch.
How tough a task has Ollie got to rebuild this team into a team that can win the Premier League title?
People have to support Ole. I say from day one, we play with Ole. What a person. People think like he's just smiling, he's a nice guy. But I speak with Ole after a few games and he was like so angry. Ole bring hopes. He bring hopes before the departure of Mourinho. And that's what's really important. Ole have a big job and big responsibility, but I hope the board will be behind him until even if it takes 3 years, 4, 5 years.
Speculation, we've talked about Paul Pogba, so I'm not going to go back there, but the speculation around David De Gea, Romelu Lukaku, Paul Pogba, Martial, and Herrera's just left, Juan Mata. Which of these, there's such a big job to do. Which of these players would you keep? Which of these players would you let go?
Tough question. Yes, this is a tough question. I think Ole and the board need to talk with them if they're ready to be committed for the club. This is the first part. But as a player, of course, I will want to keep all of them. But I want them also to be honest. Like, if they want to leave, let them leave. Because I always say United is bigger than any player. So when you ask me this question, and I know you want me to answer, I will keep all of them. But to make sure the next player I will bring, they will. It's difficult. It's difficult.
Well, who is responsible for Manchester United signings? The manager, the scouts, the board. Who is it? And I don't know. Every other club I know, but I don't know Manchester United.
Exactly. So I think that's one of the most important points United have to resolve, and maybe that's why they're trying to hire a director, football club. So we'll see, but it's going to be hard. Even if they got that man, it's going to be hard. Because like I say, guys, I've got the fear, and I'm really a positive man, but all the things are going. I don't want United to be like Liverpool, wait like, I don't know, 7 or 10 years, like AC Milan, like team like that, like Arsenal, to get back at the top. But the problem, the future doesn't look bright. You know, I want the future to look bright, but it doesn't. It doesn't look bright.
Let's finish on a positive note. You just said the future doesn't look bright. Give us a positive message that you can relay to the fans.
I will come back and sign for United tomorrow.